Now, Eyewitness Sports.
Welcome to Double OT, lucky number episode 13 with Mark Dondero. I'm Yianni Kourakis. Football season is upon us.
Feels good. Feels good. We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting to dive into this on this show because we started the show however many weeks ago. Football really wasn't, atop the list of things to talk about. So we are looking forward to this. And speaking of that, day one of Patriots training camp in the books. You were there. Yianni, what was your biggest takeaway from the first day of Pat's training camp?
My biggest takeaway is the changing of the guard, so to speak, at quarterback. We know Tom Brady has his job week 5 in Cleveland. Bill Belichick said as much this week. But 11 on 11's end of practice, Jimmy Garoppolo was running with the ones. And Belichick mentioned this in his press conference. His goal is to get Jimmy ready for week 1. So while Tom and Jimmy are exchanging, reps all throughout practice, situational football, important, we're going to see this going forward. This is Jimmy's team, at least for the next however many weeks, 8 weeks. And it's such an interesting dichotomy because Tom Brady's a 4-time Super Bowl winning champion, one of the best to ever play the game. He's healthy, he's out there, he looks good, and he's not your starting quarterback. So it's just something Patriot fans, and I'm sure the coaching staff, has to get used to.
I like that takeaway. That would obviously be the takeaway that this was the first taste of life without Tom Brady. And I think that fans and players, based on how the players talk, because they seem to adjust pretty quickly. Now, they're having conversations in the back, in the stadium, in meetings, and they know that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter. But this was a taste. Jimmy's the quarterback.
Yep.
And we're going to expect the Patriots to be good, even though Tom Brady's not the quarterback. Now, will they erode over time because Brady's not there? Probably. But for now, it's interesting to feel what it feels like that Tom Brady is not the quarterback. The other takeaway I had, and this chair is making noise, so if you hear that, sorry, was Tom Brady working specifically, and he's done this before, but working specifically with Rob Gronkowski and Martellus Bennett.
I like that.
Bennett dropped a couple passes today. Not the start you want, but...
So did Gronk.
Okay. He was obviously working with them, highlighting maybe a package or two with them, and I'm sure we'll see more of that as camp progresses. If we're talking about on-the-field stuff, I'd love to see them highlight those two guys. And that was the first we saw of it today, him working with the two of them.
I'm fascinated, speaking of Brady, who he works out with when he can't be with the team. Does he call up Wes Welker or a bunch of retired guys and just toss the ball? Does he go to Michigan? Does he go to California? Where does Tom Brady go when he's not allowed in Gillette? All right, the next question upon us. More pressure first 4 games of the season, let's say now until October 9th in Cleveland. Bill Belichick, the coach, as he tries to rally his troops without Brady, or Jimmy Garoppolo, the quarterback?
Well, the answer is easy. It's Jimmy Garoppolo, the quarterback, because Bill Belichick has a job in place, has a legacy in place. Jimmy Garoppolo has a nice job. He's the backup quarterback, makes a lot of money. But as far as an NFL legacy, he needs to produce. He's unproven. He needs to be a quarterback and succeed in order to become the player he wants to become and have the career that he wants to have. So it's Jimmy Garoppolo who needs to, whether it's auditioning for another job with another team or, with the Patriots for their quarterback position after Tom Brady leaves, he has to play well. He has to, work towards that next contract because he wants to cash in. Bill Belichick's legacy is set. The man already has all the houses and boats he needs. That guy is good.
When is he inviting us to Nantucket? Ever?
Hopefully in the fall, because the rates on the golf courses there change.
The answer, of course, is Jimmy Garoppolo. Like you said, he's auditioning for a job. Can he do what Matt Flynn did, what Matt Castle did, and be a competent backup, give teams a sniff of what you can be, and parlay that into a big contract? What Matt Castle did in 2008 earned him a big job. I think Matt Flynn, who is with Green Bay, got signed with Seattle. So Garoppolo needs to prove he can play. I mean, he's thrown, 130 passes over his career, 1 touchdown. So I think he's proving himself. I will say this, though, a lot of upside for Belichick. We know those who praise Bill go to 2008 and say he won 11 games with Matt Castle. I think Bill likes succeeding without Tom a little because it's the whole chicken or the egg debate. Are the Pats good because of Brady or Belichick? I think it's both, but I think Bill likes doing well without Tom, strokes his ego a little bit.
That's a great point. When the Colts imploded without Peyton Manning a few years ago, Bill Belichick spoke specifically about that. Now, I don't remember if he was getting a little testy in the course of a press conference, but he spoke specifically about how he was proud that the year that the Patriots lost Tom Brady, he didn't say it in so many words, but when they lost Brady, they didn't implode. It wasn't a disaster. 11-5 with Matt Castle, who we now know cannot play. So it was a great job by the coaching staff, by Bill Belichick, and make no mistake, he is deep down somewhere excited for this opportunity. He can't wait. Now, he also is very good managing the roster outside of the quarterbacks, but he hasn't had to do this in a while where he had to decide who the starting quarterback would be. So, at the beginning of training camp, when he met with the media, he said that Tom Brady will be the starter no matter what when he comes back for Week 5. Do you think that was a smart move by Bill?
I think it was a smart move by Bill because, listen, there's no quarterback controversy here. Let's not deal with this. Let's not deal with what he had in 2001 where Brady lit the world on fire, and then in the playoffs everyone said, is this Drew Bledsoe's team or Tom Brady's team? So I think it makes sense. It's kind of an olive branch to his Super Bowl winning quarterback. This is your job. Don't worry about it. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for Jimmy Garoppolo's confidence. Hey, you have this 4-week window, and that's it, buddy boy, so you better get out there. So I think it's great for Brady. And, I think it was, we know Bill Belichick doesn't like speaking to the media. I think that helps him not have to answer questions from all of us about this. I can say before camp, this is Brady's job. That's done with.
Just to your point on Jimmy Garoppolo, too bad. Handle it. If it doesn't do much for your confidence, deal with it. It doesn't matter what you think about that because you have to play well. You have to find a way to be confident and play well. That's your only chance at success. As far as the decision to announce already that he will make Tom Brady the starter when he returns from suspension, duh. First of all, Tom Brady isn't Drew Bledsoe. So I don't care what Jimmy Garoppolo does. I don't care what he does. I don't care if his touchdown-interception ratio is excellent. I don't care if he leads the team back after the defense blows a game and Jimmy G leads them back to these impressive wins. Doesn't matter. That's great. You'll enhance trade value. You'll win a spot, maybe on the Patriots or another team. When Tom Brady is prepared to play in Week 5, Tom Brady plays in Week 5. End of discussion, and we shouldn't even discuss this again beyond right now.
All right, so we won't then. Julian Edelman amongst the players not at first day of Patriots training camp. Amendola wasn't out there. Dion Lewis. Specific to Edelman, we know he's, besides Gronk, perhaps the most important person offensively. He had offseason surgery. He was in a boot, but then he was taking ground balls at Fenway. He's dating a supermodel. Are you concerned about his Week 1 status?
Not one bit, and you just said it right there. Ground balls at Fenway told me everything I needed to know. You do not take ground balls. You do not hit baseballs if your foot is ailing that much. And we're not going to get into the specific mechanics of hitting, but you have to plant your foot, you rotate your feet. He's hitting balls over the monster. That takes some strength, some explosiveness. He might not be ready right now. They might be doing a little maintenance, but Julian Edelman will be ready to go, and I expect to see him sooner rather than later, no question about it.
Not concerned about Edelman one bit. I think Jeff Howe in the Boston Herald said that he's coming back sooner than later. He was out there today in the jersey, backwards hat, no pads. So I think when you're out there, the Pats don't have anything to hide. We saw this with Gronk at OTAs or minicamp in June. He wasn't out there, and we didn't know why, and then he was just out there. The Patriots medical, Bill says it's the medical staff, but I think it's him who's making these calls. He'll be ready Week 1, and if he's not, who cares? I think they'll be fine. Get him back when he's ready to be back. But obviously an important piece. You want Jimmy Garoppolo to have all the weapons, so he has the full arsenal when he takes over.
It's interesting. Usually that would be my mentality. If he's not ready for Week 1, that's fine. We'll get back. But with Jimmy G in there, you'd like to see him out there. You'd like to see what Jimmy G can do with one of the best weapons on the field, and you don't need any help digging any kind of hole. So we'll see, assuming he's ready to play and returns to training camp. As I said, sooner rather than later. Now, we mentioned Edelman with the Red Sox. Maybe they could use him because he is not, the Red Sox, that is, are not playing well. They slipped up big time at home during the last homestand, and that is where they have really played well. So it's concerning considering what lies ahead. 4-5 on their recent homestand, Yianni, and not looking good in the process. Are they blowing it?
They are not blowing it. I think we've seen a roller coaster mentality with this team throughout the year. They were awful in June. They were really good in July up until last week, and then they had a poor homestand. I think they'll go out west, win some games here. So I think They are, at the end of the day, a 90-win team. So they'll win 5 of 7, lose 4 of 6, and at the end of the day, they'll get 90 wins or 88 and 89 wins to be that second wild card team. But I think what troubles me right now is they don't win close games, 4-3 games, 5-4 games. When they're hitting, when their offense is rolling and they're 7, 8, 9 runs, they're winning those games. And I think it comes down to pitching, right? They're not winning those late inning games. So that worries me. But at this point, I have no panic meter going.
Okay, I think they're blowing it. So I disagree with you. I think they're blowing it, not necessarily in the standings on the scoreboard, but I think the way they're playing, the way they're not winning the close games, as you said, I think slowly they're getting their confidence eaten away at because they're not winning these games, because they see their ace, the guy who's supposed to be the cornerstone of the rotation, big bucks, they're seeing him just flap in the wind, flounder. He's not getting it done, David Price. And that has a trickle-down effect. All of a sudden now Stephen Wright is struggling. And we'll see what Rick Porcello, I wouldn't be shocked if Rick Porcello all of a sudden starts to come back to earth because he's been excellent, especially at home.
Right.
So yes, I will say right now they are blowing it. Can they turn it around? Well, we'll see. 41 of their last 63, I think, are on the road, and they're only a team that's about 2 games over 500 on the road to this point in the season. So that's not good. Tough stretch ahead, brutal schedule. They haven't been great in the division all year long anyway. So, yeah, right now they're blowing it.
That leads us to our next question. We touched on many of the topics here. Will the Red Sox still make the playoffs?
Yes, they will, because their offense
They're blowing it, but they're still making
They're blowing
the playoffs.
it, but they're still I think right now they're blowing it, but they're going to do something to save it and get in as one of, like you said, those wild card, those play-in teams.
Right.
I don't think they'll do much with the pitching, but I think they will get into the playoffs and find a way because of their offense. Their offense is good enough to get them in. I do not think it's good enough to win a World Series, and at this point I don't think it's good enough to get them to the World Series because those close games are what you see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You don't slug your way to a World Series historically. You have to win those tight games, you have to pitch, and they can't do that. Bullpen starters, they haven't done that. Now when they get healthier, Kimbrel,
right.
We'll see.
Once
but
the
right now
bullpen shores up health-wise, I think that helps the situation because when your starter's out in the 5th or 6th, you can kind of get those guys in there. I still think they make it in as a second wild card team. You have Toronto, Baltimore, and Boston all there at the top of the AL East. Houston's lingering there in the wild card area. So none of the other team process of elimination, none of the other teams really blow me away. So I think the Red Sox squeeze in there. And I didn't really historically like the second wild card, but if the Red Sox were in that one-game playoff, I think it's kind of cool.
It'd be fun. I like the second wild card, and I will say this.
It keeps more teams in. As well.
I had a similar belief. Now, I don't remember the exact progression in 2013, but I did not think that pitching staff had what it took to win the World Series. Now, the stats would tell you a different stats would tell you a different story if you compare that year to this year.
Who was good that year other than Lester? I mean, Lackey was okay. PV, Buchholz.
Buchholz started on fire. He was like 10-0 to start. Tailed off. So we'll see. You never know. I think they're blowing it, but I think they'll recover, get in, and won't be able to win the World Series. And that's what we talk about, World Series. We don't talk about just getting in. So that's what you have. The Red Sox, socks, which is an article of clothing, is a nice segue into our last and final segment here. Bill Belichick today, as I understand, was wearing a sweatshirt. Now the sleeves are cut off almost like a muscle man.
It was a sweatshirt, but it was like, do you remember like Allen Iverson at Georgetown would cut off the sleeves right there?
Okay.
It was that maneuver with the sweatshirt.
Okay, so it would tickle your bicep a little?
Yeah, so he had some, it was almost like a cut-off hoops jersey, sweatshirt material.
So what that said to me was Bill Belichick is hell-bent on wearing sweatshirts, whatever the weather. Do you have any article of clothing that you are so stubborn on that you have to wear in any situation?
There's a few that my wife hates me wearing. One actually is pretty timely because he's getting inducted to the Red Sox Hall of Fame. My Wade Boggs t-shirt. Okay. It's just the softest, most comfortable cotton. So it's my go-to when I come home after work. I put it on, and so I wake up, and I'm essentially wearing it 3 or 4 days over the course of a week between like the bedtime hours and until I get dressed the following day. So she doesn't understand who Wade Boggs is. She thinks it's kind of weird. Why are you always wearing this t-shirt? Throw that t-shirt out. Mm-hmm. But it's my go-to comfortable t-shirt.
I have a few t-shirts like that. Whatever's on them is gross, but comfortable.
Comfort wins out.
Mine is about socks. It's about socks for me. Two things with socks.
Holes?
No. Oh, I can't stand holes. With the socks, I will never wear socks, white socks with dress pants, dress.
Well, that's
slat.
a fashion no-no.
I would never do that. I would get crushed by my wife. I just wouldn't do that for my own edification. I wouldn't do that. But I have no issue wearing socks with sandals.
Oh, brutal. Get out of here.
No problem.
Get out of here.
You can look, you can laugh. I have no
Thong
problem.
sandals or open-toed sandals?
Both. I'll wear them with both. Listen, now I wouldn't do that. I say I have no problem. If I would go to the grocery store doing that.
Unacceptable.
But I wouldn't go to a party doing that. Listen, if I'm golfing, if I'm putting on golf shoes, I'm wearing sandals, baby.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my feet open-toed in sandals and then taking socks and doing that. No way. I'm going to wear the socks
Hold on.
with the sandal.
When you wear the sock with the thonged sandal,
Yeah.
the sock crunches up between the big toe and the second toe, and that's mayhem.
No, it's not. You get it.
I can
you get it loosened up a little bit, and it's
Adidas
fine.
open-toed sandal, like LeBron and the NBA guys, they do some sandals. When I played soccer growing up, I had those Adidas ones.
No, I know. You get it loosened up and it fits fine. It just
I
takes a
think
second.
comfort, maybe like in 50 years, like when you get to a certain age and you give up, you don't
When
care.
you let yourself go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until then.
You're not at that point yet? when is that point?
I don't know, 75?
Okay.
Do you have any pictures of yourself in socks and sandals?
I mean, we could. I'll look. I'm sure. Jen doesn't
Is
like
that
it.
a Mississippi thing?
No, it's just I don't care. I don't want to be changing in and out of socks. So not that I don't care. I just in certain situations. Again, I wouldn't wear it to a party where my wife's friends were.
Right.
But I will go out doing that occasionally. It's going to happen.
Well, I'm glad that's settled.
All right.
The whole episode can be seen on WPRI.com, and we'll send out some stuff on social media. Soon, it's going to be on iTunes. Have you heard the news?
We got that iTunes podcast coming soon.
Next week, are we going to do one? You're on vacay.
We'll talk about it behind the
Maybe you'll
scenes.
Skype in.
Yeah, we'll talk about it behind the scenes.
All right. For Mark, I'm Yianni. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you episode 14 coming up before you know it. Have a good time.